Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the College Cinephile. I'm Im Rubio, and today we are starting off with a crowd favorite segment, Why Does This Exist? This week's torture device is the pinnacle of poor Americanization and lame fart jokes. It's Doogal. I would tell you more, but I already forgot everything about the movie, so I have Sydney Hatfield to remind me and give her thoughts. Sydney, tell us about Doogal.
I also don't remember anything about it. I think that goes to show to tell you how very standard the plot is and how not great it is.
Yeah, like it's one of those movies where I've seen this movie twice. Once when I was a kid and once very recently. And I can easily tell you that I still only remember one thing from this movie. And it's that joke where Doogal gets interrogated, and that's it. That's the only thing is when Doogal gets interrogated, and that's the only good part about the movie. Everything else is boring and at worst obnoxious. Not Biodome obnoxious, but it's at least a 7 on the Biodome scale. I think a lot of this movie, what makes it interesting is just the stuff around it. It was dubbed from a movie that was released in Britain, and that movie was based on a movie. Based on a children's show released in the 60s and 70s, and it was a nice computer animation. It has aged horribly, but it's has that unique charm to it.
Yeah.
So.
And you're watching the American version, Doogal, and it's who is this for? It's obviously for kids because it's about this dog and it's all animated and all these animals but then there's you have Jimmy Fallon and Jon Stewart and Whoopi Goldberg.
It was clearly just a cast of actors that were popular at the time.
I like these people, but it's they don't need to be doing this movie.
Yeah, and the voice acting wasn't even that good anyway. So
it was very standard. And Chevy Chase was randomly there. He was the train. I'm pretty sure he only said 5 things, and it's why was he there?
And yeah, one thing that was interesting upon researching, just briefly looking at the Wikipedia, was that they actually changed a lot from the British version. There's a nice long list, and every I read through all these decisions, and every decision made the movie worse. For example, they added fart jokes that wasn't in the British version. They added a bunch of American pop culture references, and obviously that dates the movie even more. They actually cut out certain scenes which would have contextualized a lot of the characters a little more to make them a little more developed and fleshed out, and that's cut from the movie as well. So you get this movie that's just very bland and just very forgettable and has absolutely no depth to it.
Yeah. You know what I do remember though? I hate Doogal. As a character, he's awful.
Yes, he's not the worst thing I've ever had to watch, but he's not enjoyable in the slightest.
He's supposed to be the main character, and I'm not saying that every main character is a nice guy or a good person, but Doogal's just generally an awful not person because he's a dog, but he's just an awful character. I hate him. He's so selfish, and I don't feel he got any redemption. And it's he has this relationship with Florence, and it's and at the beginning of the movie, it's oh, I love Florence, and that that's all you get from it. Oh, I have to save Florence, and that's it. You don't get to know anything about Doogal or Florence's relationship other than that they're close. And Doogal's a little jerk, and it's all his fault that Florence got in this situation.
He's just a little Caillou. He's just super annoying, and he just doesn't stop talking. And all the characters are annoying in some fashion because they try to fill all the quiet space with jokes, and it's just constantly throwing joke after joke, and none of them work.
I can fly! No, I can't.
There's nothing to it. It's just boring.
It's boring. It's unmemorable.
The animation's pretty charmless.
Yeah.
The characters, despite being pretty unique on their own, you got a rabbit. Okay, that's a bad example.
I'm fine. I broke the fall with my face.
But you gotta you got like a really like dog with like a unique design. You got like this cow that has a really interesting costume and like personality, but like it still is forgettable just by having these weird like Winnie the Pooh-esque characters to them, like that feel like their own like thing. But like it's boring. It's like
It is.
It's harder to describe this movie to people who haven't seen the movie. It's like, cause like, and that's our challenge here. Like, cause people who've seen the movie, like they can talk about it and they can like, they know what's wrong with this movie. But like having to explain to someone why they shouldn't see this movie is pretty difficult because it requires that you've seen the movie. And so we're at this catch-22 where we can't help anyone. And like you get this sudden realization of existentialism, and it's from a movie that came from a children's animation that came out in 2006.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've all lost to Doogal because we can't win. It's a movie we can't win, and that's the best way to describe Doogal. It's it will make you question your own reality and identity and have you have an existential breakdown. So don't see Doogal, and when we come back, we'll have more College Cinephile. Welcome back. I am still M. Rubio, and with Halloween just around the corner, it's high time to talk about a movie that is both highly influential and also a hidden gem. This is the Hidden Gem segment, and this is Jacob's Ladder. Directed by Adrian Lyne, it's a film that would inspire horror classics like the Silent Hill franchise, as well as inspiring pretentious student filmmakers. I'm with... Jacob's Ladder is about a Vietnam veteran dealing with haunting hallucinations as well as his past. Throughout the film, he struggles with constant revelations as well as his sanity. I would say more, but I don't want to spoil anything. Now, because it is a horror film, saying a movie is scary is completely subjective. However, what I will say is that if you're a fan of creepy yet subdued visuals, subtle scares, powerful symbolism, and an overall sense of dread, this movie is for you. The movie wastes no time and it's effortless in its horror attempts. Tim Robbins' performance as the titular Jacob and the editing of Tom Rolfe, whose previous psychological romp is one of cinema's greatest, lends to a movie that's emotionally draining in multiple ways. At least for the first half. The movie doesn't take a slight tonal shift, going from psychological horror to more a mystery. It's still engaging. In fact, in terms of mysteries go, it's one of the best at revealing information at a solid pace and implementing twists and turns that are generally unexpected and do not feel forced. But of course, no spoilers. If you haven't seen Jacob's Ladder, then give it a watch to build your horror film IQ. That's all I have to say. We will be right back.